You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, Bold and the Beautiful fans. It is Soap Dirt on YouTube, and we want to talk about Hope, Liam, and Thomas, of course, because that is the front burner issue right now. And what we are wondering is if Liam Spencer is going to bust Hope with Thomas in Rome. And we suspect that even if he catches her red-handed with her mitts on Thomas, who she's crushing hard on, that might still not convince him that Thomas isn't somehow to blame, okay? There is a lot happening in Liam's head, some real and some imagined, but I definitely think, based on things we saw on the most recent couple of episodes, that Italy is a big deal for Thomas and Hope, and things could change there for them. Before we dig into this, if you haven't already, please reach down and click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Bold and the Beautiful updates, spoilers, and casting news. All right, so let's dig in. This week on Bold and the Beautiful, which is the week of June 5th, we're in the tail end of that week, Liam Spencer threw down this gauntlet at his wife's feet. He demanded that Hope Logan bar Thomas Forrester from the Italy trip. And she's like, hello, this is a trip for my fashion line. That is my lead designer. The designers are always at fashion shows. And she reminds him that he knows that. And his attitude is, yeah, but this is different. No, it's not. Every brand trots out their lead designers at fashion shows. Liam thinks it's different because he is hating on Thomas constantly and doesn't think Thomas should have any limelight. Meanwhile, Thomas has done the work, and I know people are very divided whether he's really changed or not, but so far, all of his actions point to him redeeming himself, at least right now. And after Liam threw down this gauntlet, Hope just flat out refused to consider blocking Thomas from the trip, and she laid out all the reasons why Thomas has to go along. And then she shut him down and then just walked out on Liam and said she had to go to work. But most telling was Hope's choice of words. She says she didn't want to block Thomas from the trip. She didn't say, I can't say he can't go. She said, I don't want to say that. Even though, Liam kept pestering her and saying, oh, surely Ridge will understand. And her attitude is, yeah, he might, but I'm not going to ask him. And she just shut him down completely. Then she walked out as Liam is going on about trouble is brewing. Liam's right. Trouble is brewing, and where it's brewing is in his wife's lower regions, because she has got the hots for her ex-stepbrother. Because then she marched over to work and she started having her little fantasies about Thomas again. She lit up when she saw him. She's arguing with Liam, and then she goes to Thomas, and then she's like lit up like a Christmas tree, so excited to see him. They talked about the Italy trip. She told him, don't worry about Liam. And then Thomas had some interesting words to say. He said this trip could change their lives. And that leads into a scene that's coming up on Friday, June 9th, where Hope fantasizes about the future and a different future that she could have. I expect to see scenes of her with Thomas instead of him. Maybe we're going to get scenes of Thomas and Hope kissing. Maybe we're going to see scenes of them in a home together and them, raising Douglas together, maybe even with Beth there. And I do want to say one thing that a fan pointed out the other day, which is very interesting, because Bold and the Beautiful likes to just write things in a different way than they occurred on the show. They like to contradict history. And it feels insulting as, not only a journalist writing about this show, but also as a fan of the show. It's often very insulting when I guess they think we won't remember things just because either A, they don't remember it, or B, they decide they want to forget something that they wrote before. And I want to talk about real quick, remember when Liam was arrested and in jail and facing years behind bars for supposedly killing Vinny? You remember Vinny? Vinny is Thomas's friend. Vinny went off the rails and basically decided to commit suicide in such a way that it would implicate Liam, because then he thought Hope would be free to be with Thomas. Thomas did not ask Vinny to do any of this, okay? This was just Vinny being Vinny because he's a weirdo drug dealer who's now dead, of course. And so he basically jumped in front of Bill and Liam. Liam was driving his dad's sports car. His dad actually let him behind the wheel, and he ran over Vinny. And then he was basically, as Vinny planned, accused of, trying to kill him. And so Liam's in jail, and he wanted Thomas to come see him. So Thomas comes to the jail to see him, and Liam says, "Please watch out for my family. Take care of Hope. Take care of Douglas. Take care of Beth." Do you remember this? He invited Thomas into the house to step in while he was away and might possibly be away for even longer. So while Liam is, trash talking Thomas, let's not forget that even after Thomas did a bunch of crazy stuff, Liam was still willing to trust him with Hope and the kids, okay? And it's like they don't think we remember this, and now Liam is just, "Oh, I can never trust Thomas with you." Well, he was ready to hand Hope over to him. And then it's just, it's a 180. It's very frustrating sometimes to watch this show. So Thomas says this trip could change their lives. Hope is then fantasizing about what her life with Thomas could look like. And with Hope taking Thomas, maybe she is considering rolling the dice in Italy. She maybe wants to confess her feelings to Thomas while they are thousands of miles away from LA and away from her husband, and she wants to tell him how she feels. Maybe she puts the moves on him because she is definitely tempted. Meanwhile, we do know that Scott Clifton was part of the remote shoot. And the question is, why is Liam Spencer part of this Forrester Creations trip? It makes no sense. And then there's another sign of Thomas and Hope kind of matching up in Rome, and that is how they arranged them for promo photos that they were shooting for this remote in Italy. They had in the middle, it was like Carter and Steffi and Ridge and Brooke are kind of in the middle, okay, because there was 7 people total. So those are the 4 that are in the middle. And then they have Liam all the way down at one end next to Steffi, and then all the way down at the opposite end, they place Thomas standing next to Hope. And that just feels like, because they were staging promo photos that way, maybe that's a sign that Liam wasn't a part of the original group and that Hope and Thomas are together in Italy. It is all very interesting to me. So it seems like that Hope may, go without Liam and is tempted, and Liam may initially stay behind, but the voices in his head are going to get so loud with paranoia that he may hop on the Spencer private jet and decide to follow them uninvited to Rome, Italy, because he thinks it's what he has to do. And Wyatt, of course, is constantly spinning him up about stuff. So that's the way it could go. So we want to talk about a couple of more things we think is going to happen with Liam and what he might walk in on in Italy. But first, if you haven't already, please reach down, click that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our Bold and the Beautiful updates and spoilers and news. So, Hope may think that she's got this chance to have Thomas alone in Rome to explore things, whether she wants to test herself to find out, do I really feel this way? Whether she wants to maybe kiss him and see if there's some chemistry, see if she can figure out if this is just lust or that she can possibly work out of her system. Maybe she's rationalizing it that if I kiss him or hook up with him, maybe I can just flush it out of my system and Liam never has to know because she knows that Thomas would probably keep her secret. So the bottom line is, if Hope and Thomas are kissing, holding each other, canoodling, anything, standing too close, Liam may show up in time to bust them, and of course, he will assume that it's all down to Thomas, that Thomas started this, and there's no way that Thomas would ever say, "Oh, no, it wasn't me, your wife started this." He would never contradict Hope and throw her under the bus. Liam might, but Thomas will not, so we have to wonder if Hope is going to woman up and tell Liam that, like it or not, she wants Thomas. Wouldn't that be pretty interesting? Wait and see.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.